Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. In today's video, we're really just going to take a step back and take a look at the broad pattern overall, because as we head into late January, like I've been saying for weeks, we are heading into a very active pattern. And now what we're trying to do is pinpoint which part of the country our next big storm is going to go to. I still believe that as we head into late January, we are going to get a significant East Coast storm, and the models are starting to agree as well. So no matter what happens, we're going to be tracking every storm right here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a storm. All right, without further ado, let's jump right into the weather and take a look at those forecast models. All right, here we go. Big old view of the United States of America. This may look a little different. I'm on a different website for this particular run. We'll go back to normal on the next model, but I have to show you this 12Z run of the GFS from yesterday. This is the first model run that really started picking up on those signals of an active pattern as we move later into January. So let's analyze it closely. Okay, here's that storm we were dealing with yesterday. This has moved on. Let's just go ahead and put this into motion a little bit. We've got a little bit of this Great Lakes moisture that's really trying to interact with this low, this upper level low, as it moves east. And this is going to continue bringing snow showers off and on for people in Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, the Great Lakes region. But it's nothing too significant. And as you can see, as we move on, our attention should shift to the south and to the west. Check this out. We've got our Baja low down here, 1004 millibars. And we have a stream, a plume of Atlantic moisture coming into Texas here. This little low pressure system is going to inject moisture into the four corners of the United States, and that is eventually going to get caught up in this crosshatch flow we've got going on in the United States, meet up with this moisture in Texas and cause a significant rainstorm in this area of the United States. In fact, we were talking yesterday that there may be a couple areas where severe weather is possible. We'll have to keep an eye on the severe weather threat, but we are focused on the snow right now. Here goes our big rainstorm. Anywhere from Mississippi up through Tennessee to Georgia could see 2-3 inches of rain from this. And then our next big snowstorm comes out of the Rockies right here, really gets organized around the panhandle of Oklahoma. Now the time frame for this storm is the 24th through the 27th of January, okay? January 24th right here, we've got heavy snow in Kansas and a deepening low pressure system in Oklahoma. Let's push it forward here. We've got heavy rain in the southeast, and that snow is still back building and now into Missouri, all the way into Illinois. Our low pressure system is going to cut across Kentucky. And at this point, we're dealing with pretty heavy snow in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Another possible severe weather event in the southeastern part of the United States. And since we've got cold air in place here, that moisture, when it enters Pennsylvania and Virginia and Maryland here, it's going to start out as snow. Whether or not it continues to be snow really depends on the track of this low pressure system. And since we are, like 200 hours out, all the models are, disagreeing with the exact placement. This run in particular, though, is really interesting because the way it works out, it comes out to be a classic, nor'easter, a pretty significant one. So let's run this forward a little bit more. Heavy snow now in Ohio, and we've got the low pressure system now in southern Ohio. Forward a little bit more. Once again, we've got heavy snow in Pennsylvania, all of New Jersey, Maryland, and Delaware, places that, would just love to see it. I know you would. And that low pressure energy in eastern Ohio gets transferred down into Virginia here, and we have a 997 millibar low pressure system just south of Maryland, and it deepens quickly. It really starts intensifying here as it hugs the coast. This is a 989 millibar low pressure system, really bringing heavy snow. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that purple right there represents intense heavy snow. And this would be occurring around Allentown, Philadelphia, New York City, that area, and just one frame forward, and it's once again really intense. Now we've got heavy snow all the way up into Scranton, Pennsylvania. That bombs down to a 976. Gosh, the odds of this happening exactly this way are low, but buddy, is it fun to look at. Now we've got extremely heavy snow in Hartford, Connecticut, all the way over to Providence, Rhode Island, and we've got our classic nor'easter 967 millibar blizzard conditions in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and then that gets out of here on this run. And once that monster of a storm moves out, our attention moves over here to the Rockies. You see we've got thermal packing going on here. Some insurgence of cold air is trying to happen here, and we do have moisture available in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's see what happens with that. And another extremely interesting storm system right here. I mean, this would be a shutdown system for much of the people in the South. We're talking about extremely heavy snow in central South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, this would be quite the sight to see. Don't get your hopes up too high, but I just want to emphasize just how active this pattern that we are in is. You don't get stuff like this showing up on, the GFS this far out unless this area of the United States is just primed for big storms to come through. Is this going to happen exactly like this? No. I wish it was. Trust me, I wish it was. But we do got to watch for similar signals to show up in future runs. And of course, just for fun, we got to look at the total snowfall amounts for that run right there. It is going to be pretty interesting to see. Let's see here. We got 7, 8, 9 inches down here in southern Mississippi. Central and southern Alabama up to 14 inches. Yeah, buddy. Atlanta's right around a foot of snow. As we get into South Carolina and North Carolina, though, we're pushing those 20, 21 inch ranges. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see that. Look at this. And even southeastern Virginia, near Virginia Beach, 17, 18 inches of snow. Some parts of northern Maryland here seeing 5, 6, 10 inches of snow. From Illinois through Ohio, we've got pretty consistent 17, 18. I mean, there's a couple 22-foot ranges here near Columbus, Ohio. And then all of New York's in 50 inches. Now I believe this is definitely overdone. Look at this, 64 inches. I mean, you love to see it, but you also kind of hate to see it because some of this is just so unrealistic that it could mean that the whole run is garbo. I think the placement of these two areas of increased precipitation, I think that's a good placement. I think that's definitely possible, but these totals are definitely overdone. Okay, now we're back here with familiar scenery. This is the 0Z GFS from last night. We're gonna put this into motion and just go ahead and start talking about our Baja low. This little trough down here, even though it seems kind of insignificant for us on the East Coast right now, the way that all this interacts with this Gulf moisture, the way it interacts with these little clippers that try to come down, and how much moisture it sends up really it's gonna determine a lot about the way our weather's gonna go in the future over here on the East Coast. Now, obviously, in the short term, it's going to affect these areas a lot. The mountains in Southern California are going to get a lot of snow, especially close to the bigger cities. The Four Corner states here, any of the mountains here are going to get a lot of snow off this. We're going to have Santa Ana winds. So here comes all that moisture rushing across. Once again, slight severe weather potential here. We'll have to see what the Storm Prediction Center says as we get closer, but I think it's there. That's going to slide off to the east. A little bit of snow in Tennessee and Kentucky with this, which will be interesting to see. And once that's gone, that sets the stage for our big storm. Here we are, January 25th, 1 a.m. in the morning. We've got our low pressure system in Oklahoma. Heavy snow from Colorado all the way into Iowa and southern Wisconsin. Once again, another severe weather potential here on January 25th. So let's see what happens with it. It's scooting off directly east. And as you can see, the newer run here has the rain bubble, the little warm bulb here, significantly more north than the old 12Z data showed. So this is showing Ohio and Indiana, you're out. But there's still cold air ahead of it, and it looks like Maryland's going to be starting off as a mix, and a lot of Pennsylvania is going to be starting off as snow. So on the coast, we got to watch for another low pressure system to form, or at least for this one to start to deepen. As you can see right now, here we are on the 26th of January. We're all rain down here. Let's keep pushing it forward. We're at a 989 millibar low pressure system. It really bombs out right here around New Jersey and New York City, and we get a classic nor'easter. Now this one, the snow is kept to the north of that line, so Maryland, Delaware, southern New Jersey, sorry. But what this tells me is that now on 3 or 4 consistent model runs, we know that if we can get some phasing to happen, or if we can get this low pressure system to at least cross this path, something's going to happen here and it will inevitably deepen, right? So if we want this to happen, the low pressure system can't go like this, and it can't cut north like this. In order for this to happen this way, we do have to see it go across the Appalachian Mountains, or we have to see a new one form and then go straight up like this. So that's something to keep in mind as we watch future model runs down the road. But this is still showing a very significant storm. New York City, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We're dealing with a Cape Cod blizzard right here if this was to come to fruition, especially right here, 970 millibar, low pressure system, blizzard conditions over there, and then that moves out. Now, right behind it, there is another little system that kind of reminds me of an inverted version of that southern system we saw on the older run of the GFS, and that does give snow for Maryland and Virginia and a lot of places over here. And then if we keep playing it on out, the GFS does see another big Pacific storm making it into the Midwest and ultimately causing another major storm for the U.S., especially up here in Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan and Iowa. This is what a lot of storms start off as as in the long range, and there is always the possibility for it to cut across the United States like this or do something like this. We've just got to watch it. And then that goes all the way out to sea, and we are dealing with a little trough here with some decent cold air, but we do have a ridge building out here, and we've got to worry about that trying to move in and warm us up on the East Coast. Let's check out the latest Euro. Okay, now the Euro is just now getting to the point to where it can pick up these storms. The Euro, and I agree with it, is a little bit more robust with our Baja low, sending in a ton of moisture through Mexico here, and it links up with our Atlantic moisture pretty fast. And then there goes our rainstorm there. And our big storm is not so big as it comes into frame here around January 24th. As you see, there's no phasing that happens. Really no noticeable area of low pressure is established. And it's just an overall weaker field of precipitation. We don't have nearly as much cold air coming down behind it, but this is still a signal for a storm. And we still have an opportunity, even if it was to, come out like this, we still have an opportunity to get some decent snowfalls in Maryland and Delaware here, which is, one of the places that really would like to see the snow. And then on the main last frames of the Euro here, we do have another storm working up right here. That'll probably do what all the other models are doing. So yeah, even the Euro is, a pretty accurate model. I like it better than the GFS. The Euro seems to be a little bit more realistic. However, I'm not buying this either. If we see this exact scenario or something similar to it on the next 2 or 3 runs of the Euro, then we should probably start being concerned that this is, probably closer to what's going to happen. But I don't know, man. Now, one more thing I do want to look at here is we're also looking at the possibility of another polar vortex split and a little bit of that coming down into the eastern part of the United States. We can see that a little bit better on the upper air data. A couple weeks ago, a lot of people were talking about this polar vortex that was supposed to be coming in 2 weeks. Obviously, it's not here. What happened with that was it split and it went down into Europe. And now we've got major blocking going on in the polar region. And we're going to try to get a little piece of the polar vortex, maybe try to work down into Western Canada as we go forward. And it might be possible for us to get a little bit of that down here in the lower 48. So let's just see what the GFS is showing. Watch up here in Canada. You'll see that colder air is going to come down in pulses. It's not going to shoot down in all in one little piece, but it does sink in. Look, we've got a decent amount of cold air all over the western part of the United States, and this is the 17th of January, just in time for our very active pattern to start sparking up. And then we've got a big old area over here on the west coast that's going to try to slide in to the East Coast from January 30th to February 1st. So, it's possible. And then up here, it's building up big time. And then if we kind of fast forward through the temperature data here, the surface temperature data through the GFS, you can kind of see that back building happening in Canada, but it's nothing too significant. And honestly, I don't 100% buy the polar vortex scenario right now, but you're going to hear a bunch of people talk about it. Okay, that's all the weather talk I have for you today, guys. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below with what's the most snow you've ever seen in your life. For me, it's only 11 inches. 11 inches of snow is the most I've ever personally seen. I'm hoping to move that up to at least 13 by the end of this year. Lord goodness, come on. We're all excited about the snow, guys, and I'm rooting for all of you. I know we've got viewers, pretty much everywhere now. I'm rooting for all of you. I hope you all get your snow, and that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.